Philippines still worth visiting in 2024? I'm trying to find something to clean the lens. I don't think I cleaned the lens here. Give me a second, y'all. A little bit better. It is about 8:45 p.m. in the Philippines, so all right, let's get going. Also, this will be a celebration to celebrate the 1,000 subscribers here on. Oh, I am live here. I'm gonna look on my phone, my other phone, and talk to you guys while we do this live stream. So yeah, everything looks good. Let's get into it. 2024, and you might be wondering, should I visit the Philippines? Is it still worth it? And I'll tell you guys all about it. Let me get myself straightened out here. My name is Alex. I am from Afghanistan, but live in Canada. I've been there all my life practically, and I started traveling in 2019 full time. And the Philippines is where I've been based for the past 5 years, in and out. I spend the most time in the Philippines, and personally fell in love with the place. So today we'll talk about all that stuff, whether it's still a good idea to visit there, the cost of living, relationships, maybe which areas to live in, any random topic you want to discuss. I'm here. So this is my dedicated channel to the Philippines. I do plan to travel quite a bit still this year. So the living abroad is going to be about travel and interviews. And Asia now started off kind of like a news channel. I might still do like a weekly news recap on this channel. Anyways, that's besides the point. I'm mainly based in Cebu City, and that's where I would be talking about most of my experiences when it comes to what we're going to talk about today. If you want to ask your questions, don't be shy. Feel free to write them. Any kind of comments you want to make as well, no problem. So I live right now. My apartment is in Cebu City IT Park. So I usually rent month by month, and I don't stay long term because usually I don't have a plan, to be honest. So I'm not retired. I don't have like a pension or set income or nothing like that. YouTube is still my primary source of income. So the videos I produce on my main channel is what I make my living off of. Hola, says William. Hola, my man. William says hello. So for me, it's a bit different. So I do travel still. And I'm not in a relationship with a Filipina, and I don't have a property there. So I get too comfortable sometimes hanging out in Cebu City, and I got to remind myself, hey man, this is a travel channel. You're a travel kind of guy. There's a whole world out there to see. I know Filipinos and Filipinas are extremely friendly people, and sometimes I just forget my mission in life, and I get too comfortable in my circle of friends, and yeah, it's great. So. Ramses Random says, hello, Mr. Alice. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, is that the AC loud? Thank you for letting me know. I got the mic on, so it might be catching that wind. Let me go ahead and turn the fan super low here. One second. What am I doing? Quiet? Cool? Mode? Whoa. Give me a second, guys. Let me fix this so you guys can hear me much better. Why is this? Fan low. I don't know. Is that better? I feel like that should be better. Yeah, Keith Adams, morning, Keith. Oh, let me know where you guys are watching this from. If you're in Southeast Asia, if you're in the U.S., I love to hear time zones and everything. So it's morning for Keith Adams. And Ramses Random says, bro, I'm here in Cebu. Can I offer you a coffee in IT Park? Yeah, although I do reside in Cebu City right now, currently I'm not in Cebu. I'm in Thailand. And you guys, if you saw my main channel, I released a video recently there, and I showed you guys some photos from yesterday, the weekend. So I'm not in Cebu, but thank you for the offer. I should be done here soon, though. Louisiana, I love your hot sauce. I love your, what's it called? Popeye's chicken. I know it's embarrassing. That's the only two things I know really about Louisiana. And your gumbo, yeah, I think I know a little bit, maybe. Oh, somebody's here. Who that is?
Maybe take out the microphone.
Oh, okay. That's my mom, guys. Mom, I said you're my mom. You gonna fight me? You guys might know Palm from. Anyways, the microphone's off. Maybe let me hear the sound here. Anyways, hello, testing 1 2. Oh, I'm so tanned. Hello, testing 1 2. Yeah, it's a little better, no? Whatever. You guys can hear me. So let's get back on track. Um, so Cebu City, yeah. The reason why I stay in Cebu because it offers kind of best of both worlds. It's pretty modern, especially in IT Park. A lot of younger people just going to work, working at call centers. So my daily life is like living on a university campus, you know. So for me, it's really exciting just to be in that environment. And I usually just like I people watch. I go spend like an hour or two at a cafe while I edit, and people just walk by, and I just imagine what kind of life they're living, what's their story, what kind of job they got. You know, that's basically it. But the reason I like it also is because it's really close to some of the most beautiful islands, right? So you got Moalboal, Bohol, Bantaya, Malapascua. All these places are within a few hours bus ride. So if you're coming from Canada, like the concrete jungle of Toronto, and landing into Cebu City, it's really an amazing feeling. And I think I've been chasing that feeling for the past 5 years of just excitement. And it's fun for me. And this channel, Asia now just crossed 1,000 subscribers. So that's amazing. And I'm going to try to build more on this channel, focusing heavily on my experience in the Philippines, advice for people that are coming here, tips, tricks, how to get a job, maybe how to date people, how to meet people, how to handle certain situations. It's going to be a lot more informative, and I really want to help whoever wants to come here. I tried my hands in a couple different directions with what I want to do, with the website and everything. It's a lot of work, and I couldn't keep up with it, to be honest. I just feel like this way is better. I can sit down, get all my thoughts out, make it very clear. I can edit the videos, and then get my message across much better than just trying to run a website with like a chat and all that stuff. So let's go take a look here. Um, Ramses says, appreciate it, bro. I'm traveling back to Dubai on May 21st. Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't be back. I would just miss you pretty much in Cebu. I have a couple more weeks here. I wish you were here before 21st. I won't be, but maybe next time. Yeah, but if you guys have any questions, shoot me an email. My email address is talknowcanada@gmail.com, and that's where I can help you guys out with anything you need. But let's get back on track here. 2024. Is Philippines still worth visiting? I highly would say yes, 100%. Now, I can't speak for those people that have been here for, let's say, decades, right? There's a lot of foreigners in the Philippines who've been here and traveling to the Philippines since the 80s, 90s, and they just love the place. And they always, it's natural to compare current states of your city, country to what you first experienced when you got here, right? Even with myself, I compare the Cebu City with when I first got there in 2019, before the pandemic and all that. So those people might say that the Philippines is getting much more expensive. But so is the rest of the world, right? We have to remember inflation is happening everywhere. Any country you're living in, the prices are going up. And I still would say the Philippines is a lot more affordable. You get a lot more for your money here. I did a video with the 5 types of men that come to the Philippines. So if you fall under one of those categories, the Philippines is still a wonderful place. And let's not forget, everybody practically speaks English here. So you can have a really, really cool circle of friends, whether they're locals or foreigners, and you can like pretty much be whoever you want to be in the Philippines. You can start fresh and brand new. You can live a much more peaceful life if you know what to look for and what your goal is by coming here. Now, if you're running away from something back home, if you're not happy in a certain situation, by just traveling here, that might not fix your problems. But if you really want to put the effort in to acclimate to even the humidity, for myself, I still have trouble. I'm sweating. Yeah, for me, the weather, it's too hot, but it's still better than the freezing cold, minus 30, minus 60, whatever the hell's going on in Canada sometimes. So for me, it's fine, but it's still an adjustment. Or let's say that, trying to think of what, yeah, traffic, for example. A lot of people complain about the traffic in Cebu City. Yeah, I mean, it's an up and coming city. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of international students there, a lot of tourism. Well, my accent came back. The immigrant in me kicked in. A lot of tourism here, a lot of students, a lot of travelers, a lot of expats, a lot of like retirees. Everybody's hanging around in Cebu City. So, and the condos are going up like every other day, feels like. So congestion is an issue. But then again, Cebu is pretty small. Get into walking. I mean, it's not that hard to walk. I know there's not a lot of sidewalks, but it's still safe enough if you carry an umbrella or some water, and get into the back of a motorcycle if you're brave enough, right? Travel when it's not peak hours. There's ways around traffic. Live more centrally if you really want to. There's a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to that. So Hey, Philip Massey's here. Hey, Alex, good morning or good evening. What's the topic? Today's topic is if the Philippines still worth coming here. And I mentioned basically cost of living initially and the inflation. I've noticed a significant rise in the cost of things from 2019 to 2024. Within 5 years, I would say things have gone up about 50% minimum. So something that was, let's say, 50 bucks or 50 pesos originally is now 75 pesos, right? So everything's gone up a bit. But I know for sure it's still better than the cost of living in Canada. And I know that I still get a lot more for my money. And cost of living is usually one of the main things that we think about when we travel. Even if it's like vacation or if it's like for a month or 2 months or something, doesn't matter. Cost is always in the back of your mind. I mean, I'm not fortunate enough to be a millionaire, not to worry about prices. And I feel like a lot of you guys, if you're watching this video, you probably don't have millions of dollars. So for you, cost is also important. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. We'll get into that. So basically, whether it's worth it or not, and initially about cost of stuff. Ramsey says, you are one of the most smart content creators, bro. I'm a big fan. I'm a newbie YouTube myself. Ramsey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope your channel grows and your content blows up. William says, how long did you take for you to acclimate to the heat? I did not. William, as I get older, I don't know if my body's changing and I can't adapt. I don't know if I still sweat. I can't do it. People say a couple of years, people get adjusted, but I think it really comes down to you as an individual. I went from my room to the elevator and I was sweating. So I mean, so you do the math. Imagine being outside and doing things and activities, and that's why the AC is always on. That's when I sleep, the fan is on. I can't do it. Me personally, you have to factor in that cost. So hydro is a bit expensive. I mean, when I say that compared to other Southeast Asian countries and the Philippines, I know I saw recent readings of people with just a studio, 7,000 pesos. So that's about 100 bucks, no, 120, 130 bucks a month for just a room. Seems a bit much for Southeast Asia, but then again, you save a lot more when it comes to other things, right? So keep that in mind. Philip says, hey, wow, congrats. You already hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. William says, do tomatoes taste better than Torontonian tomatoes? Unfortunately, no. The Philippines vegetables, for some reason, they don't quite taste as delicious as the GMO. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's something with the climate or what I'm eating or where I'm eating it from, whether I'm being too ignorant of where to shop. Here, usually the tomatoes are either green, so they love the green tomatoes, I guess before it's ripened, or it's really, really, I don't know. Tomatoes are expensive too if you buy from the grocery store. You can go to Carbon, like the local market, it's fine there, but nah, not the tomatoes, not the Toronto, not the potatoes either. We got those nice white, yellow, nice potatoes. So, but there's a lot of things that are better. Like you get fruits in the Philippines you can't even get in Canada, right? Toronto. You got mangosteen, you got durian, you got all these things that it's just miles above anything you get in Toronto. So yeah, some things are much better, but tomatoes and potatoes aren't one of those things. But I think a lot of it, because it's not really in the diet of the Filipino, right? I don't think I've seen many Filipinos eat potatoes. And their tomatoes, I don't know any dishes that are actually not a lot of vegetables overall. When it comes to their signature dishes, at least, right? It's a lot of like fried stuff, lechon, which I don't eat because I don't eat pork, and the seafood. I'm not a big seafood fan, but the sisig and all the other stuff's decent. Jacques, Jacques, Jack. How do you say that in French? Jacques. Anyways, I'd love to be in your shoes right now. I plan to visit next February 2025. Where would you recommend flying from? Montreal. I still say fly. Well, I don't know if you could fly direct to Cebu. So you'd have to probably most likely land in Manila and take a connecting flight to Cebu. It's only about an hour flight from Manila to Cebu anyways. So if you're flying out of Montreal, you might have to do a layover in Toronto. I don't really know, to be honest. But where you land is most likely in Manila. And I wouldn't really recommend staying more than 2 or 3 days. Not even 3 days, just 2 days if you want to. I would skip Manila completely personally. There's a lot of stuff that you can pretty much get the feel of in Canada or any Western country. It's a lot of spaces in Manila are developed, like the Mall of Asia, or even like the historical parts intramurals are a bit too touristy. So it depends on what you want, right? Manila is a huge city with millions, tens of millions of people living there. So you kind of want to skip that, especially on your first trip. I'll skip it personally. Go straight to Cebu because it's got the feel of like a medium-sized city, right? It's got two major business districts with high, good quality restaurants, excellent internet, great transportation. Cebu is really inexpensive to travel. Even taxis are really cheap. So land in Cebu, spend a couple of days there, and then go to the nearby islands. I highly recommend Bohol, Mualboal, Bantayan. If you can get to Malapascua up north, Oslo, it's all within like a day, half a day trip. So you can spend months exploring those just islands alone if you really want. So that's my recommendation. But if you're into like surfing, I hear Siargao is beautiful. But some of the flights, you have to really factor in the travel time. You're not gonna get like maybe multiple flights a day. You're not gonna get like direct flights into the town. You might consider 6 hour, 12 hour van ride to like Palawan. So you gotta factor in and ask yourself, what is it that you want from the Philippines? And then you could have a better understanding of kind of where to land. Yeah. So Keith says very hot here in the summer too, different from Philippines. They're used to the heat. Yeah, Louisiana, I imagine would be right. I'd love to visit again. I think I got as close to Louisiana, if I'm not being completely ignorant, would be South Carolina. I went there and that was it. Not really further down south than that. So, um, William makes a great point. 11 different varieties of mangoes. Whoa, I had no idea. 11? I've only seen like 3 or 4 maybe in my lifetime, but that's amazing. 11 different varieties of mangoes, 14 variants of Carabao. What is that? I don't even know what Carabao is. Look at that. Exactly. So although tomatoes may be better in Toronto, because I remember my landlord growing tomatoes, so that's always stuck in my head. But things like mangoes and Carabao, whatever that is, it's 14 different varieties, so you can't go wrong with that. Lester said here in Luzon, potatoes are used a lot. The vegetables from Baguio are outstanding. So here, Lester makes another excellent point. So it's not actually fair for me to sit here and say the Philippines tomatoes aren't good because I have really within like a 5 kilometer radius of what I'm judging the whole thing about. If you go to places like that are specific regions, right? Because the Philippines, it's very long. When you think about it, it's got 3 separate even regions, right? You got the Mindanao, the Visayas, and the Luzon. Like Luzon, is that it? You think I would know by now. Anyways, so every region's got specialties in everything. They're very different, and it's not all like one thing. If you went to the Philippines, you have to sometimes remind yourself of that. If you've never been here, it can be overwhelming with the number of people, the number of dialects, languages, variations of festivals, religions, culture. Like there's so much here. So, and I think that's secretly deep down, I'm just still waiting to fully explore once I have like a set amount of income. But that's maybe in a couple years from now. We'll see though. We'll see what's going on. Jacques says, Cebu it is, sir. Hotel accommodation in Cebu, spending a month there. Okay, a month. Hotel-wise, I never really spent more than a couple days at hotels, but a couple of very popular hotels in Cebu City would be the Seda Hotel. Look into that. It's a bit more pricey than the average, but accommodation is one thing that you don't really want to cheap out on in the Philippines. I find that some of the stuff isn't quite up to par at some other places, but doesn't mean it's not good. It's just like I feel like you want to be comfortable on your trip, right? I just spend an extra 100 or 2 a month and stay somewhere either central, somewhere that has a good reputation, maybe no insects, or I don't know. The water brownout is not brownout is like electricity going out. Is not an issue. Water is not an issue. Security at the hotel, all these things. So consider those things and spend a few extra dollars. I would recommend Seda Hotel. There's 2 main ones, one a business park, one an IT park, and a waterfront. If you can master up the money, waterfront is like a really massive casino hotel. There's 2 of them from what I know at least. One in Lapu-Lapu. You kind of don't want to stay there. That one's close to the airport. So try the waterfront near IT Park. Perfect location, waterfront. Walk across the street, you're in IT Park. Literally across the street, like I'm talking across the street. You're in IT Park, and you're right into the heart of everything. And you got 2 food courts. You got the, I forgot the small name, but you got the Cebu Mercado, and Cebu Central. 2 food night markets within like less than 500 meters from each other. And all the restaurants you can imagine, and it's got the major mall in it too. And then the other Seda hotel is connected to Isla Business Park. So Isla Mall, I should say. That's the main mall. So it's within the actual mall basically. So Seda Hotel, either one will be fine. IT Park or Isla Business Park or Waterfront Hotel. Those are the top two. You got Shangri-La and they got these really high-end resorts, but they're in Lapu-Lapu, Mac 10. They're not really within the Cebu city itself. So there's a lot of stuff to go over, but I don't know exactly what your plan is for a month. And I don't know if you really want to stay somewhere for a month, to be honest, because you probably want to explore, right? You want to go for like a few days and more, about a few days here, a few days there. So I wouldn't really do that unless you want to get like an affordable Airbnb or a 1 month rental somewhere and then take weekend trips with, if you're with a loved one or girlfriend, if you're single, whatever, meet somebody, and then go on like 2 or 3 day trips. That way you have somewhere to leave all your luggage, somewhere safe that you know you got a place when you come back, and then you spend like 20 bucks a night at hotels when you go to these different islands. I'm dying. Went down the wrong pipe. William said, footnotes to the vlog. The name Cebu comes from the word Cebu, which means animal fat. The hell? I never knew that. I live in a city called Animal Fat. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, William. I appreciate that. Let me see if I missed any. I should really go ahead and Palm hook me up here with the, what do you call it? Read the comments. What is going on with me? Read the comments from my phone so I don't keep tapping the phone. Let me go ahead and try to catch up. Yes, thank you. 1K, thank you, okay. Jacques said, just visiting single all the way, my friend. Appreciate it, no doubt. No, don't die, we need you. Yeah, thank you for the water. Yeah, I know, right? Before going on, we got 10 people watching this, which is great for this channel that has only 1,000 subscribers. Take a quick second, hit that little 3 button on the top, hit that thumbs up so more people can see this video, and hopefully I can help out some more people as well. So yeah, go ahead and do that. If you're single, I suggest maybe don't commit to a month in Cebu City. Land there, get an Airbnb for a week, see what's going on before you like want to extend. I mean, it's a month, right? Even if you spend a little bit of more money, at least you're not tied down to a place. In case you want to go to Siargao, in case you want to go to Siquijor, in case you want to go to Bohol or somewhere. You maybe meet somebody that's from like somewhere down Mindanao area. You want to go take a short flight. That's the great thing about, although not the greatest airlines, but Cebu Pacific offers some really good discounts on flights. So consider that, you know. So I say just come, don't commit to a month anywhere. Rent for like a week, that way you have something stable and you know you're going to be there, and just look around and see what happens. That would just be me. Oh yeah, going back to the comments here. William says, just cross-referencing that with the Wikipedia. Okay, first answer was AI, and AI hallucinates. Yeah, AI is getting crazy out of hand, you know. I don't really use AI, to be honest, but I know a lot of people do, and some of the stuff they can do with AI is ridiculous, right? I know YouTube is now becoming a bit more strict with AI. Whenever I used to upload videos, I just upload them, whatever. Now there's like a section where it wants you to press whether this video has any AI content or not, and whether it's making AI represent a real place that AI is generated as AI. It's just a weird thing. My point is, they're getting strict with that. I don't know how that's going to affect the algorithm and the views, but I'm sure people have been using it for content for a while now. So I'm really curious to see which direction AI and YouTube go, because I don't want to learn a whole new thing, you know, to be honest. Not me anyways, not me. Okay, let's get back to dating. Hey, how about that? We all like dating, right? We're all grown men. Not all of us, maybe not men, but dating is a big thing when it comes to the Philippines, and one of the reasons why I do personally love the Philippines when it comes to the women. They're just a lot better. I don't know what they were like 20 years ago. I have no idea what they were like 30 years ago in the 90s or whatever. But when some of the other people came here, maybe they met their wife, their girlfriends, whatever. I can only speak from like a mid-30s guy that's single and doesn't drink or party or whatever. So for me, dating in Cebu, it's pretty easy. And when I say easy, I don't mean the women are easy. I mean like easy for me as a man. I don't feel embarrassed to approach anybody that I might feel that is attractive. I don't feel any kind of shame when I try to like talk to somebody, even just at a coffee shop or whatever. The women tend to be much more accepting of someone approaching them if you're polite and kind and not disrespectful, obviously, right? So when you consider all that, I think things become much easier. People tend to smile a bit more. People tend to be just a bit more open to conversation, and not everything leads to a romantic relationship, right? So if you want to just make new friends, people just want to know where you're from. Oh, where are you from? What are you doing here? How long have you been here? Right? So they love interacting with foreigners, and Cebu and the Philippines as a whole, everywhere I've traveled, people are the number one reason what keeps me coming to the Philippines, what keeps me there as my base, or why I keep looking forward to being in the Philippines, right? And the Filipino women are part of that people. And dating in Canada wasn't difficult for me at all, but by the time I got out of my long-term relationship and I started to even consider dating in Canada, the whole scene had changed. The dating scene had completely, like, really overcorrected itself, where women thought, or still think, I'm not generalizing, of course, maybe I got uglier, maybe I got older, maybe I'm no longer prime real estate, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I factored that stuff in, but I feel like the standards have gone to the point where it's becoming to the point of delusional. Like, I don't understand. Not everybody can have the 1% top tier man, right? So I don't know, it just became a battle almost, something that I just didn't want to put in that much effort, you know? It just seems less effort in the Philippines. It seems like people genuinely want to get to know you, they want to make connections. You still have to watch out for any kind of red flags and what's the word I'm looking for? You know, online dating can be like it can be like a really negative space if you allow it to. So when I go on there, I'm very clear on what I'm looking for. If I want to meet somebody, it's like, okay, I say no to this type of thing and no to that type of profile. I'm not here to like take you out on like boat trips and shit. I don't know you like that. I don't mind doing that to somebody I know. I don't mind doing that to people that I feel deserve it, or like I know people that I get to see a couple times before we make lifelong plans, basically, right? And you asked me to go ahead and invest into your new cryptocurrency shit. So that stuff is still there. That stuff's everywhere. You know, it's no different than what do you think? Whenever I go on into Canada, I go into like online dating sites because I'm there for, let's say, 3 weeks and I don't got time to naturally develop something. It's like I see all these like Russian or really Eastern European type of women that you can clearly tell it's not a real profile. But you don't see me try to talk to them or whatever. So you have to kind of use your brain too. And the Filipino are different. If there's a certain group of people you don't want to associate with, just make it clear. Don't talk to them. Don't associate. Don't give them your time. Your time is valuable, especially if you're there for like a 2-week trip, a 1-month trip. You gotta dedicate it towards like the decent women, because like good Filipino probably will not talk to you first, right? So you gotta put in that work, that little bit of effort, you know. But it's worth it. You know, that long courting process can be really rewarding when it comes to like just getting their time one-on-one somewhere. Clean shave, bro. Got the looks. Hee, clean shave. Okay, I don't know who's got the. You got the looks or do I got the looks? Speaking of shaving, you see this big ass hole here? Let's check this. My beard, I don't go to the barber. I go to the barber for this because I can't see the back of my head, right? Anyhow, my beard, I got this like really inexpensive $5 thing from Shopee online because I just trimmed this down basically. I put it like the tip, number 3, number 4, and I go whatever, Bob's your uncle, we're done, right? So the other day, I was doing that, and I was looking at my phone like this, and the tip came off, and I still went like zzz. I looked down the sink, and the black top was there. I'm like, damn. I looked in the mirror. Now it's going back a little bit, but this right here was like a Area 51. Anyways, that's my little life story. Anyhow, any questions? Matthew said, please go outside. Matthew, why, bro? Why you want me to go outside? Can you please elaborate? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Please go outside. I've been outside. Can't you see this? Look at this beautiful golden bronze tan. I don't know why my mouth is drying up. This fan is like killing the space. We've been doing this for half an hour. Let's go for like an hour maybe. Depends if the conversation is going well. Take a second, hit the like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. And let's get back onto the questions. I don't see any. So getting back on dating. Some things that I've noticed when it comes to dating in the Philippines, you get a mixed bag of people. So, and I'm mainly speaking about Cebu because that's where I'm really based, and that's most of the stuff that I know about. And I know this because when I interview hundreds of men, hundreds of foreign men, by now probably not going to say thousands of men, but definitely in the hundreds of men. Um, a lot of them, they really open up when I talk to them about dating, and they some of the stories I hear, I never edit out any of that stuff. I only edit my parts when I make a mistake, when they say too many times, or yeah, okay, okay, or cool, or something. Excuse me, I edit that out, but I don't edit any of the answers. And sometimes they're positive and sometimes they're negative, right? So whenever I hear the negative ones, to me, it seems like an obvious thing. But that's just from an outside perspective, maybe. That's from hearing it from that person's mouth. It might be very different, different if you're in that situation because a lot of times you can't see what's happening. You know, sometimes, like, one of my biggest red flags or deal breakers is like disrespect. If somebody disrespects me, I don't, it's over. Like, I don't even give nobody a second chance. Like, blatant disrespect, I don't tolerate. I'm a grown man. Like, you don't disrespect me. You don't know me like that. So, and by the time someone has the right to disrespect me, then I would have a conversation with them. When I first meet somebody within the first 6 months, 3 months, whatever, if you say some dumb shit, you're out the door. Like, I don't even bother with that. So when these guys are telling me these stories and I hear the steps that they take, the stuff they tolerate, and the disrespect that they get within that first 3 months of the story, for example, I always question myself, why did you allow that to happen? And that could be in any form. Like, I don't know because there's so many stories, but whether that's like family issues, personal like issues where or like personal space issues, monetary like financial issues, lies, and just like or punctuation even, right? So whatever that is, it's just like, buddy, you can do whatever, right? You can choose who you want to associate with. Get rid of that person. You just met them. Like, I mean, come on. Any, that's just one of those things, right? For example. But the stories that I hear when I see the husband or the boyfriend and the Filipina, like, you can see in their face how much they care about each other. The stuff that he said that she does for him, for example, right? And the lengths they go to make each other happy. Those are the ones that make everything worthwhile because the other stuff, negativity or like bad relationships or whatever happens everywhere. We forget that, like, just because it happens here doesn't mean it doesn't happen everywhere else, right? It might even be lower. For example, someone says, I hear this sometimes, oh, Filipinos all want money, right? That kind of thing. So I'm like, really? Really, bro? All? So I mean, like, who does? First of all, I want money. You want money. Everybody wants money. So to say that, it's kind of lazy, right? So then I'm like, what do you mean? They say, oh, the person I'm talking to, they said this and that. I'm like, okay, so who is this person? Show me a picture. You got this gorgeous girl talking to somebody that's, maybe in their 80s almost, right? So I'm like, buddy, so what do you think is going to happen here? She don't know you like that. She don't know you as a person, so she can't really connect with you yet. So the first thing she's going to want is like, okay, what can you offer me as a senior gentleman, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff like that, which I think is common sense stuff, but sometimes we forget. And just because we experience it, we kind of paint everybody with the same brush and say, oh, all Filipinas or the entire Philippines potatoes suck, for example, like me, right? And somebody said, oh, potatoes in like Baguio are delicious, for example. Let's see if there are any more comments. Jack says, how long have you been in the Philippines? Philippines, 2019 was my first trip. Last year I spent 6 months. The year before that was 5 months. So I spent like large chunks of time in the Philippines. So since 2019, I've been in and out. Cebu's my base. I travel often. Last year I was in 10 different countries. This year I've only been to 3. Where have I been this year? What year is it? What month is it right now? May? This year actually I've traveled the least. So I still have a lot of traveling to do this year. But Cebu's been my base since 2019. Thank you. Jacques said I applaud you for this. Dutch is here. I first visited the Philippines early 90s on a business basis, working on an offshore service vessel based in the U.S. The folks ashore I found friendly and welcoming. Wasn't looking for girls. Was married and still am. Hey, that's another thing, right? So maybe dating, marriage, girlfriend, none of that is why you're in the Philippines or why you consider coming to the Philippines. Maybe it's a retirement plan. Maybe it's somewhere to save money. Maybe it's somewhere where you can find peace. Maybe it's somewhere you can see a bunch of adventure, right? So I still think the Philippines is an excellent choice in 2024 if you want to come here and visit. What I would recommend against, though, is to just sell everything in your home country, jump on a plane, and just come to the Philippines. Although I think you'll be fine, there might be just too much for you to handle immediately if you've never been to Asia or even the Philippines, for example, right? There might be a huge culture shock for you where the amount of time that it takes for someone to adjust, maybe you just won't make it that long. You know what I mean? So, and that could be with anything, the heat, the food, the people, although the people are pretty fine. The language, let's say you want to come to Thailand first, right? If you come to Thailand with no other backup plan or selling everything, you might be like, listen, I can't make friends here. They don't speak English in Thailand. So whatever the reason is, I would recommend highly visit the Philippines for at least 3 months. Just visit if you can. I know it's a long ask. Okay, let's go down to a month. Let's say you're still working. Get all your 4 weeks vacation at once. Like, buddy, I just tell your boss, man, I gotta go. I'm going. So go a month later, and then that way at least you kind of feel like what it might be like if you live here, instead of just traveling, instead of just visiting, instead of just taking a vacation. There's a whole different thing about going to a resort for 2 weeks than actually living in the actual city for 2 weeks, right? It's a complete different experience. All right, so we did 36 minutes. If you guys have any final questions, please feel free to ask. We still got 16 people here watching, so like I mentioned, that's quite a bit for this channel being one of my first live streams with only 1,000 subscribers. So I appreciate you guys watching this. I appreciate you guys asking questions because it allows me to continue talking, basically, without rambling about nonsense. I'm trying to think some other reasons why somebody might want to come to the Philippines. So another good thing for the Philippines, actually one of the best things about the Philippines, aside from the people, I would say, is the 3-year tourist visa, essentially. So I know most people, if you watch Philippines content regularly, you might know this. If you don't, maybe you're new to this channel, maybe just coming across this live stream and my face looks funny, you want to look at it. But about the Philippines, you can stay here on a tourist visa up to 3 years without leaving the country. So what does that really mean? That means you can land most countries, not every country. Some countries you need a visa. I don't know what those countries are, you have to look at it. But most Western countries, the US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, all these countries, most of them, you have 30 days when you first come without any visa. That means visa on arrival. That means you don't have to apply for anything. You just need your passport, your plane ticket, and an onward ticket. When you land, you have 30 days. You can automatically extend that for another 30 days. Okay? And then after that point, you could do it for 2 months or 6 months and basically continually renewing this visa without leaving the country. Where that's not the case for many other countries. Like Thailand, you only have 30 days without a visa. After 30 days, you got to get out or extend it. And if you want to extend it, you only get 30 more days. Basically being able to stay here as a tourist in Thailand for 60 days. That's it. That's nothing compared to 3 years, right? And maybe you really want to stay in Thailand, so you're like, oh, I'm going to do everything I can as a tourist. Thailand allows you to apply for a visa ahead of time before coming to Thailand for 60 days and then extend that an additional 30 days. So absolute maximum 90 days. Now compare that to 3 years, right? Another reason why a lot of people choose the Philippines. Why not be somewhere where you feel wanted, right, and welcomed? And it's a great feeling to be able to not worry about legal stuff and immigration and the BI and all that. You don't want to get into like a situation where you overstay your visa because you lost track of time and you thought you could do something and you're out on some random island, you can't get back here on time. And here's another good thing. The Philippines is not offering online extensions, right? So before, even up to last summer, I believe, you couldn't actually extend your tourist visa online. Now you can. So we're moving. We're like moving forward. The Philippines is really progressing in many ways. It's got the highest, what's that thing I just read recently? I don't know, but they're making money, right? More than any other country. The GDP is increasing more rapidly. They're the fastest growing economy. That's what it was in Southeast Asia. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So, I mean, you can't come here thinking you are the man. I mean, maybe you might feel like that because people are kind. My point is, like, you still got to be in this country, and the country's you have to move with the country, essentially. You can't live in the past or think in the past or have this weird idea that, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff to get into. I'm just rambling at this point. But, yeah, those are some great points about coming to the Philippines. I'm sure I said Thailand wrong sometime in that conversation, but Dutch says agreed. Do a recon trip. Yeah. It's not exactly the West, even with the English used in the country. Yeah, so let's go on to that point with the English being used in the country. English is used across the Philippines in pretty much all regions. The regions that I went to, Mindanao, the only two times where I thought somebody didn't understand me is just like a couple truck drivers. And then to be fair, I don't know if they didn't understand me or they just simply didn't care to entertain my jokes or whatever the heck I was doing. I was like walking around with the camera and I'm like, I don't know what I was doing. But like either way, they weren't really bothered by it. So I'm like, do they understand me? Do they not speak English? So you'll know the difference if you go to Vietnam, for example. Go to Vietnam, and then go to Philippines and try to have the same conversation. Immediately you realize the difference in English speaking difference. Now, if I go to the Philippines and somewhere in the province and I start speaking in the same Toronto accent, calling everybody fam, whatever, right? So they're like, what are you talking about? Fam? Family? Fam? Hello? Who's there? Come on in. Oh, you're so sweet, now. So kind, Kap.
Put your energy.
Kap kung kap. So, speaking of mangoes, whoa. I got my producer telling me I got low energy. Okay then. Next. Jacques says, CRA won't let me sell everything, then jump on a plane to Cebu. Are you telling me the month is too short? CRA? Why wouldn't they, first of all? If you're a citizen, you can still claim your taxes. Please explain. 1 month is long enough, for sure. But 1 month living and 1 month touristing, two different things, right? You'll get a very clear idea anyway, so don't be discouraged. 1 month is plenty of time. Just really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really immerse yourself into everything, into the culture. Like, try not to stay at just resorts, right? If you just come here a month at just some random resorts, you won't really feel the Philippines, right? Going to a random street, Philippines, for me at least, it's very safe. I don't know why some people out there saying it's not safe. It's not safe for those that want to take part in drugs and alcohol and just illegal activities. It's not safe anyway. But for most normal people, the Philippines is extremely safe. So a month is long enough. Please specify what you meant by the CRA, because as long as you claim your taxes, like Canada can't force you to stay in Canada for no reason, unless you want on some kind of like retirement thing. I'm not really sure, but I can only speak for myself. Anyhow, next question. Keith Adam, no problem dating in the U.S. now, decent job, in shape, but Western woman, that's a no-no. Yeah, that's the thing, where you can date anybody still in the West, but maybe they won't be Western women, right? They may be just like a fellow traveler, maybe an immigrant, maybe somebody second generation, who knows, right? But the U.S. and Canada and many countries now, it's really multicultural, right? So you can have different dynamics of relationships in any country. A lot of stuff we do on my channel, I have to keep reminding myself to like maybe choose my words carefully, since when I say the Philippines, I just mean based on my experience in Cebu, for example. When I say Canada, I'm speaking based on my experience in my 20s, growing up in a certain region, right? It can be very different from somebody else. Jacques said 30-day stay. Wow, good to know. Actually, it's 29 days, so be careful. Jeff's here. Tetris meth head, unstable freak. Jeff, what's going on, buddy? Stop. Oh, metalhead. My bad. I said meth head. Let me correct myself. Tetris metalhead, unstable freak. I noticed that many Filipinos are at the malls, even on weekends or weekdays, unlike Canada and America, where there are many people in shopping centers during work and school days. I'm trying to see what the purpose or the reason of that is. Firstly, I think the Philippines school system itself, I don't think people are at school as long as they are maybe in Canada, number one. The second thing is I think the numbers increase because of the heat, right? People try to get away from the heat. For example, like, let's say you have 100 people in Canada that are outside, and 100 people in Canada that are outside, in the Philippines that are outside. Probably 80 people in the Philippines would rather go inside to the mall to get AC, where only 30 people in Canada might want to go inside and get AC from that mall. If that's one of the explanations. Canada has a lot of parks and outdoor walking space and things you can do outside. Unfortunately, the Philippines, from the places I've traveled to, they're not very walking friendly. And then when you factor in the heat and the humidity, do you really want to be outside walking around with like 100-degree weather? Did I get my Fahrenheits right? Let's just say 40-degree weather, especially recently this month when the El Nino effect is really not killing, but actually killing. 30 people just died in Thailand from heat stroke, basically. But basically, it's very hot, so they're trying to go inside. And then, furthermore, or moreover, probably employment rates, although I was really surprised to find out the unemployment rate in the Philippines is only like 6% or something ridiculous. I was like, what? I guess people have no choice but to work, right? So, um, yeah, no idea. But good point. I noticed a lot of people in the malls too. Yeah, William says shopping malls have good AC. Dutch says many people in the Philippines can understand when you speak English. However, they have difficulty putting a response together to what you say. They get shy with you. Use simple words slower. Yeah, exactly, right? Perfect point. Philippines, the English is still not their main language, right? It's a secondary language they learn from a young age. And still, anybody in the Philippines pretty much knows more than just one language, firstly. So maybe they haven't spoken to a foreigner. Maybe they haven't spoken to somebody handsome as me, you know? I'm kidding. But like, it's still that shyness, that aspect of like, am I speaking properly? That I understand them clearly? There's a whole bunch of back end stuff that we don't see. So we just see like maybe the broken sentence here and there, but it takes a lot. I always have the highest respect for anyone that speaks a second language. Not even myself. I don't know my mother tongue. Like I understand words here and there, but I can't speak Farsi. I can't speak Arabic. I can't speak Turkish. Nothing. Like it's just like I don't know. So I just know shukriya, tashakur, like a couple words here and there. I understand. Like I might pick up like a sentence or two, but the Philippines they'll have a conversation with you. Not to mention a lot of them are working as call center agents, servicing the U.S. and Canada. A lot of Filipino OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, right? They go abroad and work and send money back. So yeah, big ups to Filipinos, and I can see why the unemployment rate is like pretty low in the Philippines. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Dutch says sooner or later you'll find the best way and words to ask questions. Yeah, okay, let me think of a situation. For example, when I first came to the Philippines, I was in the mall. I'm like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? And someone says, huh? I'm like, bathroom? Toilet? They're like, oh, CR. I'm like, what? So in the Philippines, they call the bathroom the CR, the comfort room, right? So that's such a simple word, but like to us, I mean, bathroom is bathroom to me, or washroom. Oh, washroom. I think he's washroom. Anyways, my point is they understand clearly what I'm saying, but one word might throw off everything, right? And whether that's a slang word, a regional dialect, Canadian versus British, or whatever the heck you want to call it, there might be just small differences like that. Jacques says, when you fly from Cebu, oh wait, let me read that again. Jacques says, when you fly from Canada, do you fly with AUR? What's AUR? Okay, basically when you come from Canada, do you fly with Canadian Airlines or other airlines? Which one's cheaper? The way I book my flights has been the same for several years. Before, back in the day when I first started traveling, I used to use third-party websites like Skyscanner, Cheapo Air, or whatever else to book my flight. Then, whenever there's a problem, you can't do shit about it, basically, because you're using third-party services and you can't really do much changes or cancellations. You have very little, actually no leeway of getting any kind of refund back. So what I do now is I go on Skyscanner, find the cheapest flights, and then see who's providing that flight. For example, if I put in Toronto to Manila, May 20th, and I see the cheapest one is to Philippines Airlines, I don't book through Skyscanner. I go directly to Philippines Airlines website and I book through them, because that way I know they're offering the cheapest price and I have full guarantee of their policies, of their refund program, or whatever they can do in case something goes wrong. It's always best to book directly towards from the airline than a third party. And sometimes it might be $20, $30, $40 more, but it's definitely worth the headache. Trust me when I tell you, it's worth that extra little bit of money to book directly from the airlines themselves. Whoa, Keith Adams says 20 grand. Is that 20 or 200? 20 grand for a retirement visa in Thailand. No thanks. Although, let me Personally, I'm never paying that money. But if somebody has it, it's well worth it. Because if you're staying in Thailand, let's say I want to stay in Thailand for a year, I probably have to get a student visa, self-defense kind of course, some kind of BS visa to let me stay in Thailand long term. So I'll spend 2,000 in 1 year. After 10 years, I've spent over 20 grand and I don't have a permanent stay there. So in that case, at my age, if I had the money, if I wanted to stay in Thailand permanently, that 20 grand might be worth it. But I don't got that kind of money. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying somebody 20 grand. But I can see why some people still do it and it's still worth it because you'll save that money in 20 grand in almost a year or two by living here instead of living back home in Canada. So keep that in mind. I know it's BS. I don't agree with it. I know in Philippines, I think it's 10,000 you have to put into an account. Regardless, I'm not retired, so I can't really speak on that fact. There's so many other channels that know much more about retirement visas and plans than I would. But yeah, I'm not paying away 20 grand. Not right now. Oh, so that's not even giving it to them. That's keeping a bank account. I thought that 20 grand of just giving them was fine too. But yeah, I mean, 20 grand, if you're retired, if you want to stay in a separate country, that ain't that much. Let's be honest. Let's be factual. If you're going to retire in a separate country and you plan to stay there, you should have 20 grand in your bank account. If you don't, you're just kind of signing up for trouble because you never know what kind of situation you might get into. I know a lot of people have like healthcare or health programs. I know Thailand has some of the best health facilities. They're actually known for medical tourism and all that, but it's still not your home country. You still don't have a lot of rights that you would back home. And you don't really, I don't know, I would rather have any kind of medical stuff be done in Canada than any other country, firstly. But if something does happen, you should have 20 grand. So I can see why the Thai government kind of wants that. And they probably don't want just anybody coming into the country. I get it, because look at what's happening all over the world when mass migration is not really controlled. Don't get me wrong, I'm an immigrant myself, so I can't say nothing. But as I grow older, I see the effects it could have on our actual nation if you don't try to control it. Like Canada, Vancouver, prices of the houses are like through the roof because all the Chinese came over and bought the property without any kind of restrictions on it. Now they live in China, rent out the property in Canada, and the locals are being priced out. Now you might say, okay, that can happen in the Philippines. It could, but you're not allowed to buy land at least. You can buy a condo. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but they have some sort of plan in place in the Philippines where they don't allow foreigners to own land, at least for now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we're getting off topic and political and weird stuff's happening. Let me have a sip of this. We got 7 more minutes. We could do it. Let's go. I'm going to do this 7 more minutes. I think I can do it. Okay. So we talked about cost of living. Let's talk about some more costly stuff. So last time I booked my apartment, I got lucky because here are some ways to book an apartment. Let's just go with that stuff. If you're staying in Cebu. And you can apply this to pretty much almost any country and practically almost any city too. Number 1, Airbnb. Wait, I know it's expensive, considerably more expensive. What? I'm at 20% battery. Sorry, guys. First of all, when I first started using Airbnb like 10 years ago, probably longer than 10 years ago, but at least let's just say 10 years ago, it made sense to get Airbnb apartments because they were cheaper than hotels. These days, Airbnb, they're priced more than hotels. So for some short-term stay, just stay at a hotel. I think it's just easier, simpler, and you don't have to deal with Airbnb. Because now Airbnb charges you Airbnb fees, taxes, cleaning fees, and sometimes there's some random service fee they want to put in there. My buddy, by the time I check out, I just paid $150 on all the service fees. So anyways, Airbnb, you can message the people. Just message them right there. Say, my name is Joe Blow. I'm on a budget. Would you consider accepting 20,000 or baht or pesos? They might be like, oh, well, usually it's going for 600 or whatever. Okay, listen, you have the peace of mind knowing somebody's renting a place the whole time. And I'll give you cash. So that's worked for me pretty much every time. So I get significant discount, at least 30 to 50% off, by simply messaging the owner of the Airbnb unit, telling them I'll pay you cash. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't want to do it, the one downside to that is that you don't have Airbnb protection in case something does happen. But the upside is you're living in a man's home. If something goes wrong, like, buddy, give back my money or come fix this, or I'm going to walk off with your TV or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, they want to fix your problem if you're staying somewhere like that. Anyways, going on to the second thing. Facebook. Facebook is huge in the Philippines. Go on to the marketplace. The marketplace usually does like 6 months to a year long term rentals, they go through agents and all that. So maybe not the marketplace itself, but go on to just press a little magnifying glass, type in Cebu rentals, and you see, and then click on groups. You see a whole list of groups that are renting their room for a month or whatever. In there, number one, you can go through all the listings that get posted daily, or just type out your own. Just put in looking for a one bedroom, June to July, 20,000 budget, must be all inclusive, no deposit, Bob's your uncle, whatever you want to put in there, right? And you'll be surprised how many people reach out to you making offers. Now, when you see all these pictures, make sure you obviously do your due diligence that the person is the actual owner when you meet them. Don't just give money to any random person. Never send money online to anybody. Just give it to them cash in person. Because if you send money online, you have no recourse of who's going to and who's coming back, and it's really hard to track that down. If you give somebody cash with no deposit, you're in there for 30 days. Make sure you see whoever signed the contract, their ID matches the unit owner's name and all that. So a lot of times that's not necessary, but I'm just giving you guys some tips, right? So when I went, my last place, the owner met me at the lobby. The receptionist knew him. They had his stuff. You could tell when someone's legit. I didn't have to bother asking for ID because that's how comfortable I knew I was with that person there. So he had multiple units. He showed me a whole bunch of places. Anyways, what are we talking about? I don't know. We got 4 more minutes. Okay, William says to Keith Adams, but like Alex says, you're saving huge versus, yeah, North America and Europe is too expensive. I save money by traveling. There's no way I could live this lifestyle in Canada. I'm working like for what 9 to 5 just so I can have the basics. You see all these TikToks, people working 2 jobs and still can't afford the bare minimum. But that's a topic for another day. Okay, so share your thoughts too, guys. If you have been to the Philippines, if you have any specific questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, write them down below. We got 3 more minutes. I wanted to do this for an hour because I was celebrating the 1K subscribers, which is great for me because now I just got to get enough watch hours, which means YouTube will allow you to monetize the channel, which means you can make money from YouTube videos if you reach certain stats, which one of them is 1,000 subscribers, which we have now. The other one is 4,000 watch hours, meaning that your videos would have to be played for around 4,000 duration, all inclusive, like whoever watched it put together, it's got to be 4,000 hours, or 10 or 20 million shorts views, which is crazy. I don't have that on this channel, but I do have that on my main channel, of course. But for this one, so another 1,000 that I can monetize this channel, and it's obviously much more motivational and encouraging for people to make any videos when you see, even if it's a small fraction, that little green number, it helps everybody. Because by me making money, I'm going to make more content and be more helpful. And salamat po, very true, William. What happened here? All right. So another 90 seconds. What is my plan about the Philippines? I don't think I'm gonna go back to Cebu because I don't know if I mentioned this by now. But right now, at the moment, I'm in Bangkok, in Thailand, and I came here to see Palm. And because I was getting too comfortable, and every time I get too comfortable in the Philippines, I gotta leave because it's just I become lazy. Let me be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I get into this routine. I become lazy. I put on weight. I start eating bad. I start like just being. I don't like the person I become when I'm too comfortable. And the Philippines makes me very comfortable. I'm very comfortable, especially when I go to Cebu. I see the same familiar faces, the same group of people. Everybody like I feel the respect. I feel just like a whole new man when I go there. And I don't want to be in a state of complete comfort personally. I want to be a little bit more challenged. Plus, it's been like a while since I've been to Bangkok, to Thailand, to Pattaya, to Hua Hin. After this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to go directly back to Cebu, but I don't want to go to Cebu right away. I'm trying to maybe explore the Luzon. I've never been up north, so maybe that'll be like a good place to start whenever that is. But yeah, I want to say a big thank you to whoever watched this. What is Maraming Salamat? Thank you very much. Jacques says an app to recommend for learning a little bit of Tagalog. Honestly, I don't know. I am a very lazy language learner. I tried many times to learn second language. It's extremely difficult for me, so I gave up. And because pretty much everybody speaks English in the Philippines, There's really no need for me at the moment, but obviously it's very respectful if you do learn a few words of Tagalog. Make online friends. I think it's a great way to actually meet people by language learning. Check out Meetup. Bomba clot. So go on Meetup. There's an app called Meetup, and just meet up. And on Meetup, there's like different groups, language groups, movie groups, coffee groups, soccer, whatever you want to do. And at certain dates, just join for free, and everybody meets like at a cafe or restaurant, and you get to share language, connect with people. I highly recommend Meetup. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next live. See ya.